Hello Internet, some exciting astronomy news today. There is going to be an asteroid that is approaching very close to Earth in about 8 hours. So in this video we're going to talk about what it is, where it's going to be, and how you can view or photograph it. So let's jump in. So first things first, the asteroid is called Asteroid 2020 SW. Astronomers have fantastic ways of naming these things. So it's going to travel to about 30,000 kilometers away from Earth. Now to put that in perspective, the moon is 400,000 kilometers away. So this is very close indeed. But it is quite small. It is only about 5 to 10 meters across. So no, existential threat here to humanity. It is actually passing underneath some satellites though. There are some communications and weather satellites that are at around that 40,000 kilometer range. And this is actually going to come under their orbits. But they've worked it all out. There's no threat, It's fine. Don't worry. We're still going to be here. So, how do you find and photograph it? Well, the most important piece of software you're going to need is called Stellarium. It is free on the computer, and we're going to jump in now and show you just exactly how to find and photograph this asteroid. So let's jump on, stick around, and I'll show you how. Okay, so I'm using a program called Stellarium here. I highly recommend you download Stellarium if you don't already have it. It is available on all the major platforms, as well as on your phones and Android and iOS, Windows, Mac, Linux, all that sort of stuff. It's free on the desktop. It is a small price, I believe, on the phones. But this is a fantastic piece of software to help you plan your night shoots. So first things first, let's add the asteroid into Stellarium, and then we'll go about how to actually find it and photograph it. So first thing you want to do is bring up the configuration window down the bottom left. You'll then want to go across into the plugins tab, scroll down, click on Solar System Editor, hit configure. You'll then want to come down the bottom and say import orbital elements in MPC format. You'll then want to make sure that the asteroids checkbox is checked. And in the drop down here, we'll be opening this drop down, and you want to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you want to open this MPC ORB elements of near-Earth objects for current epochs today. Click Get Orbital Elements, and if we remove my previous search here, you can see that there are an awful lot of near-Earth asteroids, but we want specifically 2020 SW. Select 2020 SW, hit Add Objects, and Stellarium now has the 2020 SW asteroid object with all of its orbital trajectories loaded up. And it will stay this way if you do close it and reopen it, so you don't have to keep adding it every time. So next thing is, where is this object? So you want to bring up the search window on the left side there, type 2020 SW, hit that enter key, and there it is. Wow, what a wonderful sight. From my location, this is what it looks like right now. This is where the object is. And there's a few really important things before we work out how to actually see it in your local time zone that are, what we want to go over. So up the top left here, we can see this is an asteroid. We can see that it is a magnitude 15.8 at the moment. This magnitude will change depending on how close the asteroid is to us and how bright it is at that time. The brightness will change depending on what face of the asteroid, how much of the sort of bright face we can see of it, and all that sort of stuff. So you will want to find when the asteroid is brightness for you in your local position at your time, not just what I have here. So this will change for you. The other important thing is the RA deck, usually in J2000. This will allow you to go to your mount, or using your software that controls your mount, and plug these numbers into your mount and hit slew, and your telescope will find that position. Now, if you've done a good star alignment, or if you are plate solving, these are the coordinates you need to put in. After you do your star alignment, this will help you get really close to the object. So now let's find what it's going to look like at a glance for my location tonight. Now you do want to make sure that you have Stellarium set up for your location. Click on the location window, search for it. I'm in Sydney. find your own location, plug that in there, and it will then rearrange everything for your local night sky view. So for me, I know this is going to become visible at about 8 p.m. So there we go. Just poking above the horizon at a bit after 8 p.m. You can see it's going to start reasonably close to Mars, and that's going to be really great for me. It's going to be able to be a bit of a reference point. But then as time goes on, you can see they're separating Mars, and this asteroid is separating, the asteroid is going to the right, and then it is going to sort of head down here. It's doing this sort of little arc. It's just going to be low on the horizon for me. So if you are somewhere where it's going to be higher up, you are going to get a much better view because you're going to be looking through less atmosphere. And if we look up the top left here now, we can see magnitude 14. It has got brighter because it's now closer to the Earth. Reduced to 14.6 by air mass. Now, what does that mean? That means because it's low on the horizon, I am going to be looking through a lot of air and atmosphere to see this object, and that is going to reduce the brightness of it because of light pollution and diffraction within the atmosphere and all those really fun things. So I need to find not just where the magnitude is the lowest number, because for magnitudes lower is brighter, but I want to find the lowest reduced to number. And for me, that is going to be at about, I think about 9. Let's have a look here. So you can see it's slowly going down, 13.6, 13.5, 13.4. Do we get 13.3? Doesn't look like it. It's probably going to start going back up. Yes, there we go. Okay, so probably around 9:15 for me in my local time. But as I said, that will be different for you, and it will be in a different position. So hopefully tonight, this is meant to be clouds, but hopefully that prediction is wrong, and it is clear in the east, and I'm able to get a shot of this. So now we know where it is, where we need to point our telescopes. Now let's work out what sort of equipment that you have is best for taking photos of this. So in Stellarium, if you come up to the top right here, click on this little wrench symbol, you are able to add into Stellarium your camera's sensor. You want to put in the pixels, the chip size, all this sort of stuff. Fill it all out. Don't worry about the rotation, don't worry about the binning, just these top, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all that matters. Once you have that sorted, you can see here I have a Nikon D750, 7200, and some dedicated astronomy cameras by ZWO. You then want to come across to telescopes and put in all of your telescopes/lenses. Don't get confused with this other lenses. You want all your lenses and telescopes under telescopes. You can see here I have everything from my ultra wide lens here down to my 1000 millimeter, 19 centimeter diameter Newtonian telescope here, everything in between. And this will then allow us to combine these two elements in different combinations to work out what's best. Under lenses, if you want to, and if you have them, you can add Barlow's, telemates, or teleconverters. That's what the lenses are. They are your multipliers. So if you have a 2 times Barlow or a 2 times teleconverter, add them in here. Or if you have focal reducers as well, add them in. So now what we can do is we want to come back to this main window, type 2020 SW, make sure that you have this little red crosshair, then up the top right, click this little button here with the rectangle and the circle. Boom. This is now showing what the night sky will look like in the combination of my ZWO ASI 294MC Pro camera, my 190 Maxitov Newtonian telescope, with no Barlow or teleconverter. Now you can toggle through all of your lenses here, from your wide angles, everything. You can toggle through all your sensors to see what it looks like with different sensor sizes and find the best one for you. Now you can also do a bit of rotation here. If you come under sensors, you can change the rotation of them to make sure, it's lining up the correct way and all that sort of stuff. Now once you have that, you can see this asteroid is moving really quick. It is moving at nearly 30 kilometers every second. It is insanely fast. You can see just how quickly it's going past all these stars. So you need to know the location, not just in a general time, but at the exact time that you're going to be out there. Now, what I think the best type of way to photograph this asteroid will be is not to try and track it through the sky, because it's going to be really hard to track something so faint. It will be possible if you have good equipment, but it'll be difficult. But I think the best thing to do here is to actually, and let me set up. So I'm going to be using my 294 with my 190 Mac Newt. I think that's going to look cool. And I'm going to instead, let's change the rotation a little bit on this one. So I don't want it going like a long ways across the frame. And then I'm going to set up my telescope ahead of where this comet's going to be. There we go. So I've sort of flattened it out there. You can see 2020 SW, that tiny little dot in the middle there. I can set up, maybe I over-rotate a little bit. Let's go back a bit this way. Something like that. You can set up your field of view ahead of where you need the asteroid to be. So you could set it up somewhere here. Find some object ahead. There we go. That's a good one. And it will tell you the RA and DEC of that object. And then you wait, and then 2020 SW is going to make its way along and eventually come through your frame at the exact time that you can see down the bottom here. So you can predict it. And then what you are going to have is if you take, a photo every 10 seconds, you will see a little dot or a little trail moving across your image for a minute or two. And you will then have photographed an object from our solar system moving at 30 kilometers per second that has traveled within 30,000 kilometers of Earth on your telescope and camera, which I just think is very, very cool. Now, obviously, you want to get in the darkest place you can to do this because it is a very faint object. But other than that, you now have everything you need to take a photo of 2020 SW. So good luck and clear skies tonight. And I look forward to seeing what you guys get. Feel free to tag me on Instagram or Facebook if you take a photo of this. Astro with Roro. Catch you around.